Hello, everyone. We just got done watching Godzilla versus Kong.
Yes.
And before we get into this, since if you saw our Snyderverse review, we talked about each of the movies first, gave a rating, and then moved on to the Snyder cut of Justice League. We're going to do the same thing here with the Monsterverse because there's four movies for this as well.
Yes.
Okay, so this series started with Godzilla, the 2014 version from Legendary.
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty decent like start to the Monsterverse, especially coming from Godzilla, the Matthew Broderick Godzilla, I guess you can say.
Yeah, that's a lot of fish.
Yeah, that's a lot of fish Godzilla, which I don't even think is even considered Godzilla at this point. I don't even know.
It goes back and forth. Sometimes it's just Zilla, sometimes it's Godzilla. Depends on who you talk to.
Yeah. So, but I remember being pretty decent because it was like it was a pretty good start, and you kind of could see the scale. They did a really good job with scaling and stuff like that, at least with showing Godzilla being
Mhm.
massive
Yeah.
compared to like some of them. Like going back to the Godzilla of Matthew Broderick Godzilla being like, I don't even think Godzilla was even that tall in that movie.
No, he's less than half the size of
Yeah.
the ones in this series.
Yeah. I know the only complaint I kind of had with the Godzilla 2014 version was they kind of focused on the characters a lot more, I guess you can say, and it wasn't like not that great if I remember correctly.
Yeah, the cutaways, I
Yeah,
think.
and they did the cutaways all the time.
I, I specifically remember that with you because we went to see 2014 in the midnight showing,
Yeah.
and I specifically remember when they closed the door when like the Muto and Godzilla go to fight and they closed that door. You literally in the theater are like, come on!
Yeah, I know. They cut it
like
all the
that was,
good parts. They just
that
cut it
was like
out.
the third time that happens in the movie too. It's like
Yeah. Pretty much.
I actually watched all of these movies today, so
Oh, there you go.
this stuff's all really fresh in my mind. So Godzilla 2014, um, yeah, I think what you said is right. The scale is good. The scale is actually all over the place in that movie. They make Godzilla way too big,
Oh
actually,
yeah.
because
I know
there
that
is
was a big. I know a lot of people were complaining about that. At least maybe not complaints, but just kind of we're talking about that.
yeah. Gareth Edwards actually admitted that on his Twitter account at one point that the scaling's all over the place in 2014 because there is a point where he's
Mhm.
swimming with the Navy.
Oh
And
yeah.
if you look how big Godzilla is compared to a ship, it's like he's well over like 1,000 feet tall in that scene. And like officially, he's supposed to only be like 400 feet tall.
Yeah.
So he's like twice as big as he should be in that sequence. So yeah, his scaling's all over the place in that movie, but the film does do a really good job of portraying like a sense of scale, like showing how big these monsters are
Yeah.
and that sort of thing. Like it's
I do
not
agree with that.
not necessarily an accurate scale, but one thing I do really like about 2014 and I feel like it kind of they get away from it after the first movie is the sense of like how powerful these kaiju are.
Yeah.
Godzilla is like almost a god in that first movie because there's a cool thing that happens every time he shows up. Like the Mutos are attacking and stuff, and people are running and screaming. And then the second Godzilla appears, everybody like freezes in place. It's almost like they can't register what to do when they see
Yeah.
him because he's so massive that they're just like in awe. And
Yeah.
I thought that was cool, and I liked the setup that they created, where the kaiju basically are like these almost like ancient ones, like this Lovecraftian type thing.
Yeah.
There's these beings that have existed since the dawn of time, or what have you.
Yeah.
And Ken Watanabe's character is really good in that. The other problem with the movie is the other interesting character is the character of Joe Brody, who they kill off like halfway through the movie.
Oh,
and that was Bryan Cranston's character.
oh yeah.
I think a lot of people hated that too.
Yeah, I remember a lot of people were because I was coming off of wasn't that coming off of
Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad, so having Bryan Cranston in the movie was like a plus.
He was easily the
Killed them all.
most interesting character,
Yeah.
and the little bit you get of him and Ken Watanabe together was really good. And I think that people would wanted to see more of that, and then
They just killed him off for no reason.
and that's actually a problem we have throughout the franchise. I think where
Yeah.
they just kind of needlessly kill characters off. Happens in King of the Monsters, also happens in this movie. So
Yeah.
we'll get to that as we get to those movies, we'll address it. But yeah, I think overall, Godzilla 2014, I like the tone of the film. The tone is much more serious than
Yeah, that's what I remember. Godzilla 2014 was very. It's a lot different than the second one, and even in this movie.
this one. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
the biggest departure from it actually. For a rating, what would you give 2014?
I know. I remember liking it really like quite a bit.
Uh-huh.
So I'll probably give it like at least an 8 because it's pretty decent.
Okay. Yeah, I think I would give 2014. Yeah, I think maybe a 7.5 and 8, somewhere in that range.
Yeah.
Probably an 8 total. But yeah, I know a lot of people don't seem to like it as much these days, but I do really like that one. I think the tone is good. The action's definitely a letdown though.
Yeah, it didn't. I remember not having a lot of action, but it's probably because of like the cutaways and like when you get to the actual kaiju action, it's like there is none except the very end.
Right. What we do get is really good. It's like a lot of memorable scenes, but there's not like an extended fight.
Yeah, it's probably like 10 minutes. Not even how
Yeah,
long is the actual fight? It's like not even that long.
Literally, yeah. I think Godzilla's in the movie for 10 minutes or something.
Yeah,
Which a lot of people complain about, but in a lot of the old Toho movies, Godzilla's only in the movie for like 10 to 15 minutes anyway.
Yeah, I think that's how like the original Godzilla is, isn't it? Like
yeah, the original
like backstory and stuff.
He's only in the first Godzilla movie for something like 15 minutes tops.
Yeah.
So so I guess we'll give Godzilla 2014 an 8, but it's almost like you have to have a caveat with that. It's like these movies, you kind of have to have a rating, and then as a kaiju fan, what your rating is. It's like that kind of thing. Like as a movie, it's an 8, but maybe as a kaiju fan, it's like a 7 or something because the cutaways and like all that kind of stuff. Somewhere between a 7 and an 8. Okay, so then after Godzilla 2014, there's a pretty dramatic shift because we go to Kong Skull Island.
It had a pretty good cast. I remember having a pretty decent cast.
Yeah, it has a very good cast. They basically just raided Marvel Studios.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because it's starring Nick Fury, Loki, Captain Marvel.
Yeah, it has everyone. Like
the guy from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
They're all here. That one's a little bit different because not only is it Kong, it's also set in the 1970s, so it's kind of a period piece.
Yeah.
I like that one a lot, actually.
Yeah, that one's pretty good too. I remember Godzilla and Kong was both really good, and I think in the box office when that came out, they did pretty well for both of them.
I think Kong Skull Island actually did better. I think.
Yeah, I think they did a lot better, or like not a lot better, but it did better.
Yeah, a little bit better. Yeah. I know the action's good in that one. One of the big complaints people had with 2014 too was that what little action there was, it's at night. And it's
the night scenes. It's like always at night.
It's always at night. Whereas Kong Skull Island was like the first kaiju movie that with this giant budget that was in the day all the time.
Yeah.
There's lots of interesting creatures in that, and they set up the whole concept of Skull Island, which fans of Kong will know is basically this like a monster island kind of thing.
Yeah. And actually this movie here, like the newest one, kind of expands on that as well.
Yes.
Some more.
Yeah. Kong Skull Island introduces the concept of the Hollow Earth as well.
Yeah.
Even though we don't get to see the Hollow Earth until the new movie, but Kong Skull Island is the one that introduces that concept that there's like, I guess the idea of Skull Island is that it's an opening on the surface world.
Yeah.
The things from the Hollow Earth crawl up into the surface world.
Yeah.
The main one being the skull crawlers. So one thing that was cool about this series early on was they had Godzilla and Kong, but then they also introduced new monsters into the franchise. So
Yeah.
Godzilla 2014 has the Muto, which is a brand new kaiju, and then Kong Skull Island had a number of new kaiju, but then the main villain was a skull crawler.
Yeah, Skullcrawler, which the newest one they have, like, you see at least one Skullcrawler.
Yeah, they
Or maybe
reference
baby Skullcrawlers.
yeah, they reference it a few times. But the thing that's cool about the skull crawlers is it's actually based on a creature that shows up for like 10 seconds in the original 1933 Kong.
Oh yeah.
There's like
I guess that was that one. Is that the one where he like rips apart or something?
yeah, there's like a two-legged lizard that crawls up the side of the cliff face in the 30s Kong.
Yeah.
Like that's all you see of it. I think it's crawling up a vine or something, and I think Jack like cuts the vine or something, and it drops into the pit. And
Yeah.
that's the only you ever see of it, and that is the basis for the skull crawler. That's why it's got two legs and like that kind of thing.
Oh, there you go.
I thought that was kind of cool that they just like pulled the most random of Easter eggs out.
Yeah. To put it in there.
So yeah, I like Kong Skull Island a lot. I think it might be the best one in the franchise from a non kaiju perspective, like just as like a general movie goer.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I remember that one being really good.
I think the pacing is the best of all of them, and like if you're just a fan of like sci-fi and action, not necessarily a Godzilla or a kaiju or Godzilla fan, I think that's probably the one that'll keep your attention the longest.
Yeah.
So I think as a Godzilla fan, I'd give that one a 7, and then as just like a moviegoer, it's probably an 8 again.
Yeah, I agree. I was going to give it probably an 8 on that one as well, because I remember being really good.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of like up there with Godzilla, just like it's
Yeah.
like the original.
Right. So then I guess we'll move on to King of the Monsters. This one's I guess we'll probably have an interesting review for this one.
Yeah, that's when he starts to feel a little bit different, I guess you can say, than the original. Because it's like definitely that different tone. I think they had some jokes in there. Like one guy was like Rick and Morty the man or something.
You literally have like Rick character. I think is Rick.
Oh, is it?
if I remember, because there's at one point where he's just being super obnoxious, and Zhang Ziyi's character is like, "Shut up, Rick," or something like that.
Yeah, shut up, Rick.
His name is Rick.
Because he's like he's like annoying. Was he like a scientist or something? I don't even remember what he was.
Yeah, he's like literally Rick Sanchez, like Rick and Morty. Drunk
there you go.
Time too. Like he's very obviously drunk like the entire movie.
Yeah.
So I don't. Yeah, I used to think he was more annoying, and then on the rewatch, I didn't find him as annoying as I actually thought some of his stuff was pretty funny.
Okay.
But yeah, they did put more humor into it, but
there was a lot more humor. It wasn't more as serious as the other movies.
It wasn't as serious, but then the kaiju stuff was still serious. The tone was still the same as the 2014, like, and you still get the sense of scale. And there's a lot.
And if I remember correctly, they didn't show Ghidorah very much.
No,
did they?
Well, somewhat, but it does suffer from the 2014 syndrome, where a lot of the fights have cut.
Yeah. It goes from like, or they went from, I forgot what town originally. They finally go to Boston or something. Or
Boston is the final fight in.
Oh, okay, so that's the final fight. Okay.
Yeah. San Francisco was the big fight in 2014, and then Boston's King of the Monsters.
Okay.
But one thing I will say, though, is that even though they do cutaways, there's a lot of really cool moments, much like 2014.
Mm-hmm.
And there's one scene in particular that I think might actually be my favorite scene in the entire franchise. And
Oh,
weird
there you go.
enough, it doesn't involve Godzilla. It's actually the scene where Rodan comes out of the volcano, and then there's that big fight, the part where Rodan attacks the Argo, the plane that they're on. And
Yeah.
big aerial fight between the Air Force and Rodan, and then they're trying to get away from Rodan, and all of a sudden King Ghidorah shows up on the radar with the hurricane swirling around him.
Yeah.
And out to survive Rodan's attack, they go right for Ghidorah, and then they like duck under Ghidorah, and Rodan and Ghidorah fight each other like in midair. And
Yeah.
that whole sequence is like the most intense moment I think in the entire franchise.
Yeah.
Because it's like almost 10 minutes of just like breakneck action. Like,
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool. And the music and everything. That's another thing too. Like I said, King of the Monsters, the music is easily a 10 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, it had what a Bear McCreary was in that
Bear
one.
McCreary, yeah, and he does, not only does his own themes are good, Rodan's theme is really good, and so is King Ghidorah. King Ghidorah
Yeah.
has like this creepy like Buddhist chant, like choir or something, and it's like really well done. And
Does that have Mothra in it?
yeah, Mothra is in it.
Okay.
Not only is Mothra in it, Mothra has her theme from the Toho movies,
Oh, there you go.
and Godzilla has his actual Toho theme as well.
Yeah, that was really good.
Yeah, yeah. So my favorite version of the entire all of Godzilla history is the Bear McCreary one, because he brought in like these like almost like Shinto festival type chants into
Yeah.
the soundtrack, which gives it almost like this tribal feel to it. Like it
Yeah.
sounds really cool. And seeing Godzilla show up with his real theme was a pretty big deal when I saw it. And some people don't like King of the Monsters. They think it's the weakest one in the franchise or whatever. But personally, okay, maybe it is from like a filmmaking standpoint, but
Yeah.
from a Godzilla fan, like somebody who's always grown up with Godzilla, there's one thing I always wanted to see for like 30 years of my life. I wanted to see a big budget monster movie where Godzilla fights King Ghidorah in like the biggest Hollywood special effects style and everything.
Yeah.
With the theme and like I basically had this movie playing in my head for like 20 some years. And
Yeah.
there it is. Like that's the thing. You go into King of the Monsters, and there's a moment in the movie where the exact movie I had playing in my head for like decades actually happens on the screen. So
Oh, there you go.
like I can't like King of the Monsters for me still is easily the best of this entire franchise for that alone,
Yeah.
basically. And the characters aren't, in my opinion, the characters are not nearly as bad as people say they are in King of the Monsters.
Yeah.
Because you get the Rick thing, which he's annoying. There's some dumb guy that makes a gonorrhea joke when they mention Ghidorah's name. It's like,
Yeah.
other
I
than
know.
that guy though. But I did really like the character of Mark Russell, who is the father.
Mm-hmm.
I liked him a lot. Interestingly enough, he's also in the Peter Jackson King Kong movie.
Yeah.
And also Super 8. J.J. Abrams, possibly the only movie he's done that didn't ruin a franchise. I liked him a lot, and I really liked Millie Bobby Brown's character.
Yeah, she was pretty good in that movie.
In that one, she's really good. But I like her from Stranger Things and like some of the other stuff she's done as well. So I thought her character was really good. I thought the father's character was really good. The motivations of the mother are messed up, but the acting.
Yeah, I know. The motivation is kind of yeah.
But Vera Farmiga is a very good actress, and like especially like her in a lot of horror movies and stuff. She's in The Conjuring and like a lot of others.
Mm-hmm.
But her acting is really good. It's just the story's a little weird, but the concept
Ken
of like,
Watanabe.
yeah, Ken Watanabe, of course, is excellent in that. One complaint I have though with on Ken Watanabe's end is that they actually kill off his assistant, who is a major character, at least plot wise, almost off screen.
Oh,
And
jeez.
she just gets like stomped by Ghidorah in like the Antarctica fight, and it happens so fast that it's just
Oh yeah, I think I remember that.
you don't even register that she's dead, and then it's like the next scene they show deceased on the screen or whatever, and
Yeah, I remember that. This does that.
and then Sarazawa looks sad for like a moment, and then they know no one ever mentions it again.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, my assistant's dead. Oh well.
It's like, oh well, he gets over it real fast.
Yeah, it's like who cares?
So yeah, that's a problem that I had, and that's like we said earlier when they kill off Joe Brody for no reason.
Yeah,
King of Monsters kills her off for like no reason,
it's killing people for no reason.
and then they introduce a lot of interesting monsters in King of the Monsters, like the new kaiju. I thought were cool, and a lot of people like them, like Behemoth and all
Mhm.
those things. That weird like woolly mammoth sloth thing, and some other
Yeah,
like those are cool. So King of the Monsters, I think as a movie is going to give a critical rating. We always rate these things way too high anyway, but
yeah,
a critical rating, maybe a 7 because it is a little uneven, like plot and story and stuff. But as a kaiju fan, I'd have to give it like a 9, 9.5. It's like damn near perfect
oh there you go.
for a Godzilla movie, like as a Godzilla fan.
Yeah, I'll probably give it yeah, I'll say 7. It's probably pretty good. Pretty good,
Yeah.
decent. So ours is probably a straight 7 to our rating there.
Yeah, for that one's a 7. Yeah,
For
so
like a movie standpoint, I guess.
yeah, from a movie standpoint, but like as a lifelong Godzilla fan, like that one for me, that's like a 9.5. Like there's certain points in that movie where I feel like you've hit the peak of like kaiju film and it's never going to get better.
Yeah.
Mostly the Godzilla versus King Ghidorah fights and stuff. And there's certain points during that fight that it's just like damn near perfection.
Hmm.
Okay, so then it brings us to Godzilla versus Kong. So
Yes.
this one we just watched. So this one's still fresh in both of
Yeah,
our minds.
fresh in the mind.
So what do you think of Godzilla versus Kong? Silence Descends.
So yeah, Silence Descends, the movie.
If you watch this movie with subtitles, HBO Max has the greatest subtitles ever.
Yeah.
And it frequently tells you that silence descends whenever you get to a scene that doesn't have any sound.
Yeah, that's how it sounds. The Silence Descends. Yeah, I thought this was a pretty decent movie. I thought it's almost felt like felt like this was the sequel to Kong. It was like
Yeah,
it wasn't really a Godzilla sequel. This is like a Kong sequel.
yeah, this is very much Kong Skull Island sequel with Godzilla as a cameo guest.
Yeah, Godzilla just cameo appearance every so often.
Yeah,
There was a couple things I didn't like about like Kong is like in its own. He's like in like a preserve or something. I don't know. They must have got him off the island somehow. They didn't. They don't explain it. They're just like, oh, he's throwing spears at the sun.
he throws spears at the sun. Yeah,
But all of a sudden, it's like a hollow deck or something. I don't know what
yeah.
a facility. I don't really get that part still. But they
There's quite a lot in this movie that is not explained. Or
yeah,
very minimal explanation.
and it's almost like they want you to read the. I think there's like comics and stuff that's with this, isn't it?
There are comics, especially
Like
with
books.
the Kong films have a lot of comics, and there's actually a prequel comic coming out for this movie in particular. There's a
Oh, okay.
Godzilla prequel called Godzilla Dominion, and then there's a Kong prequel. I can't remember what that one's called off the top of my head, but those both come out, I think. If they're not already out, they're coming out very soon, like within the next couple of days.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's definitely a problem with this movie. There's a lot of
Yeah, it's
stuff
kind of
not explained.
which hopefully a lot of these big, like the big multiverse movie, like not multiverse, but like big cinematic universe movies. Hopefully they're not going to be doing this. So hopefully it's not like a thing that's happening
Mm-hmm.
because you have to read the books because that's like that's a very Star Wars thing to do. You got
Yeah,
to read
well,
these books to understand what's going on in the
except
actual
that
movie.
Star Wars ignores the books all the time.
Yeah, that is true.
Like I'm okay with reading the book. Like I want to get the comics and read the books and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
Go with it if it matters.
yeah,
Like I'm okay if it leads into something in the movies, but if there's no point to it, I'm not going to read it.
yeah. I do agree with that. Like High Republic.
Yes, exactly.
I guess we'll not get off topic anymore.
Before
But
this, before Geo derails the entire review, let's
yeah,
back to Godzilla. So yeah,
yeah. But other than that, I thought the characters are pretty good. They had, I don't know, that one like this conspiracy theorist guy.
QAnon or whatever.
Yeah, QAnon. Then they had like the useless character, which is kind of like I don't know,
Yeah.
like he just kind of shows up, and I don't know what if he's like. It's supposed to be like a friend, maybe. I don't know if he's like a friend character, Millie Bobby Brown.
Oh, that guy. Yeah, Kiwi
Yeah,
kid.
the hacker, or I
Yeah.
guess not really a hacker, but the guy
Yeah,
that puts in
hacking the
password.
password in the computer 4 times and then dump whiskey on it.
Yeah, then he dumps whiskey on it
That's
from
his solution to hacking.
the
Yeah.
guy that has like alcohol in his gun holster.
Yeah, Sarah.
QAnon.
Yeah, tap water.
Yeah, tap water.
The Godzilla team. The
Yeah,
whole
Team
Godzilla
Godzilla
team
was
sucked.
a little bit, yeah, a lot different than King or Team Kong, I guess you could say.
Yeah, Team
Like the
Kong was the plot, basically.
yeah, they were the plot. They were like the main focus. I would think they were probably the main focus. It's kind of the movie, pretty much, like with exception, like if you're talking about the human characters, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. The human characters, I would say Team Kong, the core 3 members of Team
Yeah.
Kong. So it's Gia's, who's the little girl,
Mm-hmm.
and then
You had the Jane Goodall. I don't
yeah,
even know what
Jane
her name was.
Goodall, the Kong Whisperer or whatever.
Yeah, Kong Whisperer.
Even though Kong doesn't care about her or ever talk to her,
No.
he only communicates with the little girl. And then Tarzan.
Yeah, and Tarzan. Which I guess the reason why Kong communicates with the little girl is because she's like a native to that island, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. So like spoilers, I guess. I mean, I'll mark this thing as spoilers anyway. So, but apparently there was a giant storm that like wiped out Skull Island,
Yeah.
and that's why they have Kong on that like containment facility.
Yeah, and that's one of the things. That's what we are talking about earlier about how being like it doesn't explain that until
Doesn't
like later
explain.
on.
Yeah, it only explains, and it only explains it in passing.
Yeah, he's like, oh yeah, there's islands destroyed, and the natives are all killed except her. Okay.
Which that kind of see, that's why that's one of my biggest I think that is my biggest problem with this,
Yeah.
because I have some problems with this movie, and I think my biggest is they have a lot of wasted opportunity, and they just throw away things that they could potentially use.
Yeah.
Like one
Maybe just had
bullet,
like a scene or something, or maybe just be like, oh, back in the 70s or whatever time it was.
right? Um, yeah, you need to explain that why Skull Island doesn't exist anymore, and the fact that you just write it off in a sentence is annoying because, like, Skull Island was really interesting and had a lot of stuff, and we spent a whole movie in that location, and then now you're just like, nah, it's done. They're all
Yeah, it's done.
everybody's
Skull Island's done.
the end. Like you're not gonna care. So,
Yeah.
and it's like, well, no, I do care because you set up all that stuff and then you just destroyed it. Like off.
Yeah, he destroyed the whole island and got wiped out. It's basically, that's what they said. The whole thing is wiped out. Like, does not existed anymore.
Going off of that, we don't have confirmation of this really, but there's one thing I gotta say, that if this what I'm about to say is true, I have suspicions, but if this is true, then this is really gonna drop the rating of this movie for me. Is that we just talked about all those really cool kaiju that were in King of the Monsters,
Yeah.
and 0 of them show up in this movie.
Yeah, I know.
And there
That's
may be a
another thing.
reason for that. Because in the very, very, very beginning, when they have the opening credits and stuff, it shows
Yeah.
different kaiju, and it shows the Muto, and it says defeated across his name, and then it shows King Ghidorah, and it says defeated. Okay, so in both of those cases, those guys are dead.
Yeah.
But then it shows all of those kaiju that were in King of the Monsters with defeated across them, including Rodan.
Yeah, I noticed that too, and I was like,
If they killed Rodan off screen,
yeah, that would be pretty.
I'm fucking pissed.
Yeah, that's pretty stupid.
That's real stupid. So it's like that's the it's like defeated doesn't necessarily mean dead, but then King Ghidorah and Muto both say defeated across their picture.
Yeah, I know.
They're super dead. Well, I guess
Especially,
Ghidorah wasn't as dead as we thought, but Muto
yeah,
did.
yeah, exactly. And it goes to that point where it's like, yeah, because you don't see any other monsters. They're just like non-existent, I guess. It's just Godzilla and Kong.
Yeah. Yeah, because they always have like a tournament bracket. Which
Yeah, pretty much.
it's leading it has Godzilla has all these defeated things, and then Kong it doesn't show anything because he only defeated a Skullcrawler.
Yeah, you just only just good as Skullcrawler. It said that one for defeated for that one. Skullcrawler defeated by Kong.
That was it. But yeah, I noticed that in the beginning. I'm like, are you serious? Like I was waiting for them to explain.
Yeah.
They never did. So they got some explaining to do with that one.
Yeah, hopefully it's not. Hopefully maybe that's just like a book thing or something. Maybe that's or I don't know. Are they going further with the series, or is this kind of like the last?
Well,
movie
we
they're
don't
making?
know if there's going to be ever another movie. I mean, it's
Okay.
done really well at the box office considering.
Yeah, I know a lot of people really like it's got. I think on Rotten Tomatoes it's like 80% or something, and that's like for both.
Yeah, it's close. And there has been confirmation we talked about on the news show a while back that there is an anime coming out for curiously for Netflix because
Okay.
as we talked about before there was some behind the scenes drama with guess who, Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
So at one point Legendary was threatening to sue or take Warner Brothers to court over this movie because of the HBO Max situation.
Yeah.
So, because Legendary felt that it was strong enough that it had legs in the theater, and they didn't want to have it be solely an HBO Max thing, since Warner Brothers is the only one that makes any money off of that.
Yeah.
So that turned into a big fight. But we do have a confirmed anime, which was allegedly called Skull Island or something, but I don't know if that's really what it is. It could actually be really Hollow Earth, but they didn't want to call it that because of spoilers for the movie or something.
Yeah.
So, but the show is continuing in some franchise is continuing in some way, whether it's just the anime or what.
Oh, okay. So in some way, or like comics or something, just maybe later on.
Yeah. So
Okay.
this one, the action. Get back on to Godzilla vs Kong. The action in this one is along the lines of Kong Skull Island. It's everything
Yeah.
daylight, very visible.
Yeah, daylight. And even it had a night shot. It went from night to day.
Yeah, and even the night shot is bright because they have it in Hong Kong, so it's very reminiscent of Pacific Rim, where you have like
Yeah, it has the neon lights, like RGB everywhere.
yeah, exactly. So that was easy. The fight with Godzilla and Kong, I thought was really good.
Yes, I do agree with that.
The one in Hong Kong, especially, where they have where Kong has the axe and stuff, and then
Yeah.
round 3 when Godzilla beats the crap out of him, like Broly style.
Yeah.
That was cool. Especially when he gets on all fours like a crocodile and comes at him. Like that, we've never seen that happen before.
Yeah, especially when he's like on like, well, yeah, the aircraft carrier does that. It's like,
oh yeah, he does that then too. Yeah, he slaps
like right at the
him.
beginning. Yeah, well, he's slammed. That's like see, like in the trailer, it shows it. It's like you're getting slapped.
Yeah, and there's a lot of callbacks to the original King Kong versus Godzilla because there's at one point where they have the airlift where they take Kong with like a bunch of Osprey planes and stuff. That's a callback to the original because he used a bunch of balloons and that. And then there's another part too where Godzilla's charging up his atomic breath and Kong jams the axe down his throat.
Yeah.
Like the tree in the original movie and stuff. So
yeah, a lot of callbacks. At least they took some of that from the older movies.
Yeah, lots of Easter eggs for the old movies. And then, of course, the big villain at the end, of course, is actually Mechagodzilla, which is like the worst kept secret.
Yeah, I know. They had like toys about him for like years.
They had trailers with him leaked in the trailer and stuff. Very first trailer, like almost the first scene of the first trailer had Mechagodzilla.
Yeah, you could see him. I was like, it was like clear too. It wasn't even like trying to like hide it. It's like, oh, here's Mechagodzilla.
Yeah, it was like, okay, good job, Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
But Mechagodzilla is really cool in this for like the moment, like 5 minutes he's in the movie.
Yeah, he's not in there for very long, and we kind of get some backstory of Mechagodzilla because I guess if wasn't King of the Monsters where it had that post credit scene with like it had like this head of Ghidorah's.
Yeah.
So I guess they bought him. Apex is the company that was like created Mechagodzilla, I guess.
Yeah, this company that we've never heard of prior to this movie.
Yeah, they must just be like
he just
money.
appeared yesterday with unlimited funds.
Yeah, exactly. So they bought like at least 2 heads. Did they say they had all 3? I can't remember.
Well, Godzilla ate one of the heads.
Oh, okay. Godzilla ate the 3rd head. So they had 2 of the heads.
Yeah.
So they had I guess Mechagodzilla has the 1 Ghidorah head, and then the other Ghidorah head is like in his pod. I guess it's like the command center pod that controls Mechagodzilla before.
Yeah, they use both of the heads. It's almost like Pacific Rim with the uplink or whatever.
Yeah.
Where it's like you have 2 people with a neural bridge or something to control Jaeger. Except for in this case, it's 2 versions of Ghidorah, and then there's a human pilot in the middle.
Yeah.
Connected to the Ghidorah, which goes very badly for the pilot later.
Yeah, because he like gets electrocuted.
And speaking of missed opportunities and stupid deaths, do you happen to know who that random pilot is supposed to be?
I have a feeling he was supposed to be kind of a bigger name actor. Or at least a bigger name character, I guess you can say.
Guy's name is Ren Sarazawa.
Oh, he's from...
Is
he the guy... That name sounds familiar. Wasn't he in the he was in the first movie, wasn't he?
Well, no, it was Ken Watanabe's son.
Oh.
The character. Like, because Ken Watanabe's Dr. Sarazawa, this is supposed to be...
Oh, okay, yeah. I was like, that name sounded familiar, and I was like, I couldn't remember. If I wasn't sure if it was from, like, from the original Godzilla or something.
Yeah.
I know it was like
this is... And that character, the only way you know that that's his son is because they mention him in the novelization of King of the Monsters, apparently.
Oh, okay.
And then he shows up in this,
then he dies.
Yeah. Shows up, says Gojira.
Yeah, pretty much. Just like it literally, even when in the subtitles, it doesn't even say, he's supposed to be saying Godzilla, but he says Gojira, and it says Gojira on the subtitles.
He comes in and says Gojira, and then he gets electrocuted and dies.
Yeah.
A great job.
Even though he was like the most sane person there, he was like, "It's not tested. Shouldn't we just let it? Should we test
like
this
the
out first?"
Has any like apprehension about it?
Yeah, he's like, "No, we got to do it."
But then Walter Simmons, who for some reason is a Spanish guy,
yeah,
is like, "No, just get in there and do it." He basically tells him the Neon Genesis Evangelion meme, where it's like Shinji getting the damn robot.
Yeah, just getting the damn robot.
Literally says that to him, and then he dies.
And then he just literally dies because I guess Ghidorah must have like some sort of sentience.
Yeah, well, it
kind of controls itself. They control it, so that's the difference. It's like it controls himself. That's why he dies. It's because it like electrocutes him.
Uplink himself to the brain of a kaiju, which, if I remember correctly, was the plot of Pacific Rim Uprising.
Yes.
So
and that guy, I remember that. I remember in the Pacific Rim, that guy, it's like he has that brain and he just like sits there, veggies on this brain. I don't know what he's doing with it.
I don't know how he's going. Yeah, that got weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one, this is one of those movies, the more you think about it, the more it falls apart.
Yeah, especially like that. It's like, come on. You should have kept, at least if you have that character, you should have kept him.
Yeah.
But
yeah, so that's another example of wasted opportunity. That's kind of the theme here for Godzilla vs. Kong, wasted opportunities. So
even Monarch really didn't have a really big part in this movie.
Monarch's barely in the movie, yeah.
Yeah, because she calls him like twice, and that's all you know is like, oh, Monarch's. It's like Monarch.
The funniest one's at the very end where Mechagodzilla comes storming out, is blowing up Hong Kong, and I'm sure it's on every camera all over the world.
Yeah, I know.
Millie Bobby Brown's like, we need to call Monarch and warn them. It's like, I think they can see what's going on.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, because that's like their whole job. They're pretty sure they know. They know what's going on right now.
pretty sure they noticed a giant robot Godzilla destroying Hong Kong.
Yeah.
I don't think you need to call them. I think they know. Especially when her father's in Hong Kong.
Yeah, I know when her father's literally just standing outside with like the guy from John Wick.
Yeah. Yeah, for some reason the concierge from the Continental is there.
Yeah.
But yeah. So that's a wasted opportunity. Millie Bobby Brown's character in this does almost nothing compared
Yeah,
to the monsters.
that's why I said it's kind of like she like listens to QAnon on radio. Like
Yeah, like the whole QAnon
yeah.
thing and the Kiwi kid from Hunt for the Wilder People. Those
Yeah.
two characters could almost have been removed, and you could have weaved that whole plot just with Millie Bobby Brown's character.
Yeah, probably it should have. Yeah, those two characters was kind of like.
Because they were mostly useless. Like,
Yeah, I don't know if it was supposed to be. Was it supposed to be for like comedy almost? A
yeah,
part of it, like the guy was like, "I drink bleach" or something. He like literally said like, "I drink bleach every day." It's like, what are you talking about?
yeah, I think that was the attempt at comedy. In this.
Yeah, I was like, okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of wasted opportunity. All of the villains' deaths are idiotic.
Yeah, he just died. That the one main like the apex guy just like gets killed.
He's given the
Gets
plot. He's
slashed.
doing the Bond villain speech where he tells you his entire plan.
Yeah.
Then he gets killed by Mechagodzilla, and then immediately Dr. Serizawa's son gets electrocuted to death.
Yeah, then he dies right after.
And then before that, his daughter has the stupidest death scene ever.
Yeah.
About that too, where she's like flying the. Okay, also we got to talk about these aerial crafts that they use to go into the Hollow Earth. They're called Heave.
Yeah, Heave.
It's got to be the dumbest thing since Tony Stark's barf
Yeah.
simulators. But yeah.
Even though that Kong area, that Hollow Earth area was actually pretty cool. That was a pretty
yeah,
cool.
yeah. It's not explained at all.
Yeah.
There's no explanation as to why there's like a sun in the Hollow Earth or
Yeah, I know. It's like just it like looks like an ecosystem in the Hollow Earth for some
why
reason.
it exists, which I would love to see explanation and do a lot more in that. Like I'd like to see a series.
Yeah, because it's a pretty interesting area because it's like
It's
they
cool.
say what did that guy say? Like the one main scientist from Team Kong. He's talking about. I guess he's like the writer for the Hollow Earth.
Yeah, Tarzan. Yeah.
Yeah, Tarzan. And he says like all the kaiju are just instinctively wanting to go to that area again.
Well, they're from there.
Yeah, because they're all from there. So Godzilla must be from there, and like Kong is from there.
Yeah.
So kind of want to go a little bit more into that because it is kind of an interesting area. Even the visuals look pretty kind of cool in that area. At least I think so.
Yeah, it looks awesome. The one thing you can say about this movie for sure is the effects are really good.
Yeah, they're pretty decent.
Yeah, but anyway, they're in these heaves.
Yeah.
And the entire time Kong's been in the Hollow Earth, the heaves have been like right behind him the whole time.
Yeah, just following him.
And he doesn't care. And so they get the sample or whatever energy thing that they're supposed to get in the Hollow Earth. And then for some reason, she's like, we got to push Kong out of the way, attack him as they try to get him into the hole. And they shoot him. And then, of course, obviously, he grabs it and crushes it and kills her.
Yeah.
But it's like he had no reason to view those vehicles as enemies until that moment.
Yeah.
It could have just literally flown past him into the hole and he would have done nothing.
Yeah, because he was just like, he was not even looking at them. He was just kind of standing there. He could have just flew around him.
They could have literally just flown around him and they would have been fine.
Yeah, and just went into the hole and just came out.
It was like, because, I mean, I don't know what the point of that was, because you could have just gone through the thing, like, I mean, I guess you could say Godzilla's waiting on the other end of the hole or whatever, but he's not because he gets bored and walks away.
Yeah, he just like walks away and looking
Kong
for
comes out of the hole and Godzilla just walked away.
Yeah, he just like, okay. He was roaring in the hole and just like walked away.
It's like you gave him 10 seconds, so he got bored. So yeah,
and there must have been like a like a clan of Kongs or something, and they must have been like hunting Godzillas or something because they had
Yeah,
had Godzilla skills.
there's a huge war between the Kongs and Godzillas, but there's also a huge war between the Kongs and the Skullcrawlers too. So apparently,
Yeah, they're just wars with everyone.
the Kongs are just fighting everyone. There must be a bunch of dicks or something.
Yeah,
It's like every monster in the Hollow Earth is fighting the Kongs.
yeah,
Oh,
in every place.
that was also a thing we determined watching this movie is that Kong is actually the villain. They
Yes.
they say that Godzilla's the villain in this movie. It's actually Kong because he doesn't know he's the villain, but he is. Because the entire movie Godzilla is just trying to stop Mechagodzilla from existing.
Yeah.
He goes to Hong Kong to stop Mechagodzilla at the Apex facility, but Kong comes up out of the hole in the ground and then attacks Godzilla. And he's like trying to murder Godzilla while Godzilla's just trying to get to the Apex facility to stop Mechagodzilla.
Yeah, I know. He's looking for the signal because he could feel it coming. Like he could feel like the heartbeat or something. I don't know what that
Yeah,
noise is.
it's like he senses Ghidorah, I think, and that's why he's.
Oh yeah. He's like, what is that? It's like I need to go investigate that. Yeah.
Like he goes there to stop Mechagodzilla. This stupid ape comes up out of the ground and like tries to kill him.
Yeah.
And
Actually, was it hinting that they were just fighting just Godzilla this whole time because all the axes were like lighting up when Godzilla was starting to have like his like atomic breath was starting up?
yeah.
Was that just the same Godzilla? Or was it like a tribe of Godzillas? There's like
there's
one.
There's definitely more than one Godzilla because there's a dead
Okay.
Godzilla in the original or the 2014 Godzilla.
Oh yeah, that's right. I remember that.
Dagon or whatever.
Yeah, when there was like the tunnel, there's one. Okay, yeah, I remember.
So it's definitely a species. So presumably these are all species because if there's more than one Godzilla, then there's got to be, and there's more than one Kong historically.
Yeah,
There's one left now, but we could have more. So maybe if they killed Rodan off screen, maybe there's another Rodan.
like a different Rodan or something.
Yeah, it's the only hope they have to reach themselves.
Yeah. Maybe that other Rodan wasn't Rodan.
The only possible way they could redeem themselves in my eyes at this point is if there is more than one Rodan.
Yeah, that was just El Diablo. Like that guy. Then that guy said like El Diablo or something.
Oh yeah.
He says that in.
Well, the original Rodan back in the 50s, there was actually two Rodans in the one movie. So there's.
Oh, maybe they're just doing that then.
There's definitely a precedent for multiple Rodans.
Yeah, I did enjoy it. It was a pretty decent movie.
It's a fun movie, and the action's really good.
Yeah, it's just the characters on King
kind of suck.
On Godzilla, yeah, the Godzilla side is like not. They had no point. They literally had no point.
The Godzilla side is completely pointless. Like, I mean, I like Millie Bobby Brown in a lot of stuff, but she's like wasted in this movie.
Yeah,
and King Kong is interesting.
Yeah, King Kong. Their people were like, okay, they knew what they were doing. They had actual like substance because the girl can talk to Kong. They had stuff to do.
Yeah, there was stuff. All of them had a plot, but
yeah,
Team Godzilla could have been reduced to just Millie's character.
Yeah, they probably could have just kept Millie's character and maybe added, or may not even added. They could have used the Monarch Dad.
Well, yeah, give him a bigger role.
Yeah, just give it to him, and it would have been fine. You didn't need QAnon and
the New Zealand
HTML hacker.
HTML tap water.
Yeah, tap water. Yeah, tap water. You didn't need those characters at all.
No, you didn't. You could have reworked the plot as to have her sneak into the facility by herself or whatever.
Because or just have like
QAnon didn't do shit. Like,
yeah, he was just like, I don't know what he was like. I don't know what his purpose as character was, other than just be like.
His purpose was to get into the facility, but the facility, like you said when we were watching it, the facility security was so pathetic.
Yeah,
pretty sure she could have just got in on her own.
The reason why they even got to the Hong Kong facility, this is the plot here. The reason why they got to the Hong Kong facility is because after Godzilla destroyed the Pensacola facility,
yeah,
they literally just walked in. It was like no like barriers or anything. They just walked in.
Yeah, they walked in and then got
the rubble that was there. It's like no one was fixing this.
Well, it's better though. They walk into the Pensacola facility, get into like a tube, like a shuttle,
Yeah.
and the shuttle takes them to Hong Kong somehow.
Yeah. Somehow.
But it's not
Like this
using
like
it's not using the Hollow Earth. It's just like
no.
apparently there's a tunnel that somehow connects to Hong Kong from Pensacola.
Yeah, it's like okay, because every Apex facility has these tunnels that can
Because
just
unlimited funding.
yeah
That's
launch you at 1,000 miles per hour.
that's a big problem with this franchise too, because one problem with King of the Monsters is the unlimited funding for Monarch,
Yeah.
which is a corporation that they establish in the movie is like on the verge of being shut down by the government, yet they have like unlimited funds.
Yeah. They're unlimited funds everywhere.
Like they have
Yeah.
more money than Tony Stark. It's
Yeah, exactly.
like where are you getting these funds? You're supposed to be being shut down by the government.
Yeah. It's like they still gave them funds. I guess they forgot to take their budget away from
Yeah.
them.
That movie also has a lot of missed opportunities too, because it's got like it basically has the Mothra twins in the sense that the Zhang Ziyi's character is actually playing twins, but
Yeah.
there's only 1 second in the movie where they showed the other one and they never show them together, so it's like pointless that that's even a thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's like I said, lots of missed opportunities.
Yeah, they could have done so much more. I mean, this movie was pretty good though. Like it
It's
was
yeah, it's good. I'm not gonna give it like a terrible rating. I mean, it's
yeah, it was
probably
pretty
like
enjoyable.
it's like a 7 for me, I guess.
Yeah, I'll probably say it's probably to me it's probably up there with King of the Monsters. Seven's probably pretty decent.
Yeah, yeah. So I'd give this one a 7. For me, this is actually I think this is the weakest one in my ratings system,
Yeah.
but it's still fun.
Yeah, it's still a fun movie. It's a very fun movie. It is enjoyable. Like it's worth the 2 hours to watch, I think.
Yeah. It is. It's the shortest one in the franchise as well.
Which I wonder why that is. It's like I wonder is that a Warner Brothers thing?
Probably because look what they did to Justice League.
Yeah, because it's an hour and 53 minutes.
Yeah,
How long was the original with the Josh Whedon verse Justice League? Was
it
it?
was about
I think it might have been the exact same length.
It was close because I know they forbade it for being longer than 2 hours. Or
Yeah, because of like Batman v Superman and everything else. Yeah, Justice League was an hour and 59 minutes, so exactly that long.
Pretty
It's
close.
like it almost felt like it probably could have been a little bit longer. At least they should have probably added more stuff to explain some of the stuff that
This movie also
happened.
takes a lot from Batman versus Superman
Yeah,
because Kong literally has a bat cave.
yeah, he does.
He goes in, gets his weapons, and then comes
Yeah.
up to the surface. Godzilla's like this super powered being, so he's basically Superman. Kong's Batman. And then the very last like 5 minutes of the movie, the two team up because Doomsday comes out of the lab at the end, which of course is
Yeah, and
Mecha
he's just like
Godzilla.
killing everything.
It's Mecha Godzilla disguised as Doomsday. They just didn't have a Wonder Woman stand in.
Yeah, pretty much.
Could have had another Mothra show up out of nowhere.
Yeah, they probably could have just done that.
Could have had like the super powered Mothra from the Rebirth of Mothra movies that has like a million beam weapons.
Yeah.
Goes up and just starts blasting Mecha Godzilla, and then Kong looks over to Godzilla and is like, "She with you? I thought she was with you." It was like that. They did a lot of that. There's even that one part where I was making fun of it when we were watching it, where Godzilla and Mechagodzilla are fighting, and then Kong looks over and sees his axe like lying there or whatever, and
Yeah.
you can even hear in your head the Batman versus Superman scene where they're talking about let's go back to the city, the spear, Alfred the spear.
Yeah.
It's like you can use the spear to kill it, and it's like in your head, it's like I gotta get the axe. I can use the axe to kill it.
Yeah.
So it's like it's so funny that it takes a bunch of stuff from Batman versus Superman, which is a movie that Warner Brothers absolutely hates and apparently wants to erase from existence.
Yeah. They want to just erase it from existence,
And
but
then they make another movie with the same general plot.
yeah, I know. Which is kind of weird because did Warner Brothers have did they have a lot of faith in this movie when it
No.
came out? Which I kind of felt like they didn't.
No, they tried to bury it on their HBO Max service or whatever.
Oh,
And
jeez.
that's where Legendary tried to take them to court. because they only put up 25% of the funding for this movie.
Oh.
Legendary was expected to get all their money back from the theatrical ticket
Mhm.
sales, which they knew was going to be minimal because A, there's a pandemic going on, and
Yeah.
B, they were front loading all this stuff onto HBO Max. And you got to take into account that prior to this court dealing, Legendary got no money from the HBO Max deal. That would go all right into Warner Brothers' pocket. So Warner
Oh.
Brothers would have made a killing off of this movie, and Legendary would have been out like $120 million or something. And that's why they took him to court, because Legendary was shopping it around and they tried to sell it to Netflix for like 250 million or something, and Warner Brothers stepped in and shot it down
Oh. Yeah.
because they had the distribution rights.
Yeah.
It was very much Warner Brothers was pulling a Darth Vader on Bespin situation where like, we're altering the deal, pray we
Yeah.
don't hurt any
Hopefully.
further.
Yeah.
So
Like, great.
that's why Legendary threatened to take him to court. And then when they did that, they settled out of court and they paid Legendary like 250 million or whatever Netflix was going to pay to
Yeah.
put it on HBO Max.
Oh, okay.
But initially, Warner Brothers wasn't paying Legendary shit, and they were going to put it on HBO Max at no pay to Legendary, and then Legendary was expected to live off the table scraps from the theater release.
Yeah, which probably wouldn't have got like anything.
No, because it is making a lot of money, but it's not making a lot of money by like massive blockbuster standards. It's doing a lot of money by pandemic standards.
Yeah.
Like it blew away Wonder Woman 84, which was the only film that was even close, because like we just talked about not that long ago that some anime movie beat out
Yeah.
Christopher
Tenet.
Nolan's Tenet movie.
Yeah, I know.
So Wonder Woman 84 was the only thing that's comparable to this, and Wonder Woman 84 is crap. So
Yeah.
go look at our review for that.
Yeah,
one.
go look at our review and you'll see what we thought of Wonder Woman 84, which was
Like
not very good.
3 or some shit.
Hopefully with this movie, hopefully they make another one, because it seems like a lot of people really like this movie. Like it says Rotten Tomatoes score.
Yeah.
Like I just looked it up. It was 93 for audience and 75 for like critic rating.
Which is really high for Rotten
Yeah,
Tomatoes,
that's real high.
this type of movie, because a lot of times like kaiju and like non-Disney superhero movies tend to rank like really low.
Yeah.
Because like Zack Snyder's movies typically were like 30% or some shit.
Yeah.
Until all of a sudden Justice League somehow got like an 80% or something on Rotten Tomatoes, which is hilarious because all of his other ones were rotten.
Yeah.
And then he gives them the longest movie ever made and he gets like an 80%.
Yeah, I guess like really good. Yeah, I know.
But typically, though, I think King of the Monsters was rotten and some other stuff. Like, I think I don't know if Godzilla 2014 was rotten. I don't remember what the rating was. But yeah, this one, 75% is really high for a kaiju film.
Yeah.
From Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, from Rotten Tomatoes and a kaiju film, especially with a movie that with Warner Brothers didn't have any faith in at all.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess they literally threw it behind the Snyderverse movie. Like they literally do it that week after.
That was weird. I don't know if they were trying to sabotage this movie or they were trying to sabotage the Snyderverse. Which that seems more likely because they got this campaign against the Snyder.
Yeah.
But
I wonder if they might try to sabotage both movies, because I wonder if they were thinking that they might like what I said. Like I think I read a story about like some people were like review bombing this movie like really badly because they were like Snyderverse people.
Yeah, Snyderverse, the Snyder Bros, like 10 of them tried to review bomb Godzilla vs. Kong.
Yeah, gave it all one to put like restore the Snyderverse or Snyder.
Yeah, and then like that. All of those reviews got deleted by Internet Movie Database in like a day, and then people online like ran with it for 4 days afterwards. Like it was, like everybody in the movement was attacking the Godzilla fandom or whatever. I was like,
yeah,
like 10 dudes, like calm down.
So it's kind of like I wonder if Warner Brothers was thinking about that too, and they're like, because of what Legendary did with trying to like sue them and stuff. Maybe they're trying to get back at them because I think, oh, maybe they'll get like negative reviews because of it.
Yeah.
Which is kind of weird. They would put this movie all of a sudden just like right behind. It's like just put it right behind Snyder Cut.
Yeah, like 2 weeks or something.
Yeah, just 2 weeks later, just like, oh, just put it right behind that.
Originally, it was supposed to be even closer because this movie came out internationally the week prior.
Yeah.
So, like, it was supposed to literally be a week after the Snyder Cut, and then
Yeah.
decided to push it back to. That's why it came out. Was it March 31st for America? Because it came out March 24th or 25th or something for most
Yeah.
international territories.
And also another thing,
unless you live here.
Yeah. Which another thing that doesn't make any sense is you would think they would space these movies out. Like they shouldn't have put it right there because they had the Snyder Cut. I guess that probably does show it right there. As they put this movie 2 weeks after the Snyder Cut.
Yeah, and then 2 weeks after this movie or something, does Mortal Kombat come out?
Yeah, Mortal Kombat's coming after, and I think if you would have bought, I guess if you bought your HBO Max subscription, like maybe the day before the Snyder Cut.
Yeah, you get all three movies for the same price.
Yeah, you get all three movies all at the same time.
Yeah, you're paying like $5 a movie.
Yeah, you would almost like they probably should have separated it. Maybe like probably separated this movie.
Yeah.
Which I'm still wondering if they didn't have very much faith in this. They probably had it there, these two movies together because they're like, okay, people are gonna buy the Snyder Cut. Maybe people will watch Godzilla versus Kong because it's in that same time frame.
Yeah, I don't know what they're trying to do, but
Because the logistics is so weird. If you're like doing a streaming service, you don't do that type of logistics. You just keep it out. That way you can make more money.
Right. The logistics is weird. The Warner Brothers has got a vendetta against somebody, whether it's Snyder Cut or Legendary.
Yeah, probably both at this point.
I think. Yeah, because I don't know if it's that they didn't have faith in Godzilla versus Kong as much as they thought they could just get easy money.
Oh yeah, that's probably
Godzilla versus Kong, because it's like we only front 25% of the cost, and then we get it on our streaming service, and then we don't pay Legendary anything.
Yeah.
That's when they took them to court, and then all of a sudden they had to pay Legendary $250 million. So
yeah,
they weren't making the money they thought they could make off of this.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a mess, but that's the way Warner Brothers.
That's the way Warner Brothers is. It's like they've turned into the Looney Tunes, I guess.
Exactly. Okay, so we got way off topic as we often do, but
yeah.
So I think for overall, I think we said that Godzilla 2014.
Yeah, Godzilla 2014. I think Godzilla 2014 Kong are kind of like pretty equivalent. Yeah. I think those two are they're pretty solid movies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with that. And then the other two, King of the Monsters and Godzilla vs. Kong, are more similar to each other.
Yeah,
they are to 2014. But of the two, Godzilla vs. Kong's fun for general audiences, and that's why it's picking up points and stuff. But I think King of the Monsters is the easy win for me as like a Godzilla fan.
Yeah.
But for general audiences, I think Godzilla vs. Kong may be better suited for like normies or whatever.
Yeah, normies. Yeah, all them normies. Yeah, to me, like I'm not as big as a Godzilla fan as you are, obviously. Yeah. But yeah, I think my favorite one's probably out of all these four movies, probably Kong Skull Island.
Yeah, I would.
But it's really close. It's really close to Godzilla because I do like those two movies.
Yeah, I can understand that. Kong Skull Island, I think, is like for general moviegoers, I think Kong Skull Island's probably the one that would rate the highest.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like Kong Skull Island's the best one for just like normal audiences, and then King of the Monsters is the best one for me for like a
for like a kaiju fan.
Yeah, and Godzilla vs. Kong's not bad, but it's got a lot of problems.
Yeah, it has a lot of problems, and there could have been a lot of changes that would have fixed. Like they would probably have fixed some of the problems.
Yeah, and I think they can fix some of it with like comic books and anime and all that kind of stuff, but you shouldn't have to do that. You should have a coherent movie without somebody plugging in all your gaps with comic books and novels and stuff.
Yeah.
All right, so Yeah, I don't think there's anything else to say. We've rambled
Yeah, I think
on
we've hit. Yeah, I
way
think we've
too
hit
much.
every point.
Yep. All right. So as always, if you like what you heard, hit like and subscribe, and you too can feel the strength welling within. See you next
See
time.
ya.